following is an exclusive presentation of Jessup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here for this Wednesday morning. It is the 13th day of January. Good morning. Butch Hubbard here with you, along with Bob Morgan, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
You doing good. Doing good. Got your Pittsburgh Steeler cap on and your Wayne County shirt on.
Ready for baseball.
Supporting your teams.
Wayne County baseball.
Wayne County baseball is going to be here soon, right?
I'm ready.
You're ready, huh? All right. Well, we've got a very special guest in here this morning. Who do we have, Bob?
Got the new sheriff in town, Chuck Moseley, been in on the job for about a week now.
Yes, sir.
I tried to kid him last week. He said, "Man, I'm swamped." He said, at least give me a week." I said,
Still trying to get my desk set up.
I got to go back to when you took office. You know, it's fairly, I didn't know this, but some kind of big controversy that you got in there at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is people upset about that? I mean, John just said, "Come on in and take over." I mean, I don't know. Why would anybody have a problem with that?
I'm not aware of a controversy, but
Well, you know social media.
well, Sheriff Carter actually told me. Yes.
Office cleared out. Come on and get set, ready to go, because there was a big New Year's Eve night that that you had to be ready for.
He told me, he said you come about noon and I'll go ahead and give you the keys. And of course I didn't officially take office until midnight, but I thought that was a good gesture on his behalf, and he's been kind, and he'll still even answer my phone call if I've got a question. God bless him.
Well, what's the first thing you do as a sheriff when you get in there? I mean, like I said,
well, there's so much that has to happen.
You already met with the officers and all that. So I said,
Yes.
It seems weird. You go in that. It's New Year's Eve night, and everybody knows what's going to happen on New Year's Eve night.
It's been a learning experience, and actually. We were expecting rain that night, so I didn't have anything planned for the guys, and I, there's time to do those things but I met with them whenever the sheriff let me have the reins. I met with them and went ahead and swore them in. We saved that time, swore them in on the 31st, and I went to the police station also and swore some of those guys in, and of course,
Now tell folks why you would swear folks in from the police department.
Well, it covers so many things. If I have a deputy that gets in trouble out in the county, they don't have to be requested. If they know he needs help, he can go.
And this has been an ongoing situation with the sheriff's department, deputizing some Jessup police officers.
Yes, sir.
To help y'all out, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but some people, why do you do that?
Yes,
because they
that's
don't
right.
know the operations.
Well, and in the past, even a road deputy can request a policeman, and whenever he goes to assist the deputy, he's in effect as well as deputized by the sheriff himself if he's requested.
Okay.
But with them being deputized, they don't actually have to be requested. They can go and help.
All right.
And it allows them to go out into the county to do certain things. And of course, they'll generally let the sheriff know what they're doing, but in a hopes of extending the olive leaf between the sheriff's office and the police department, I've deputized some of those guys and got some more to deputize as well. But like you say, last week I was drinking water through a fire hose. We got to take our time.
So you got them deputized, some of them
Yes.
on New Year's Eve night, and then what happened?
Well, I deputized them, and of course, then I know Bob's aware that following Saturday we actually executed a search warrant, and they had, some of those guys and my men made some buys on that Friday, and then we executed the search warrant Saturday, and we've since had another one. So those guys they're starting to mesh and working well together.
How's the first week going?
It's going good. I about had carpal tunnel syndrome, but I'm over it now. But
Lots of things to
there's
sign?
so much, yes, sir. There's so much to sign and
Fill out the forms and
things that you don't normally think of. Getting the bonds made, and of course Sheriff Carter was helpful with all that, and Miss Alma Wade. God bless her, I'm telling you, if she wasn't up there, I would be lost, I'm telling you. And Miss Ebony, those ladies in the front office, but it's been going real well. It's surprising, and I tell you, I almost feel like some kind of exhibit. Everybody wants to come by and see the new chef. but I'm enjoying it. That folks come by and call, and I'm enjoying it. It's just a busy time.
Another thing the sheriff has is the jail as well, not just the department. So tell us about the jail. I mean, how is it full right now? How's it dealing with COVID and things like that? I mean, you don't hear much going on. The last I actually looked at it, I think we had 86 folks in the jail, and right now, Captain Joe Manning, they've done a wonderful job, jail staff out there, of keeping COVID out of the jail. We do have a couple of employees out there that are out now with it, and one from just contacting, one actually has the COVID, but it's amazing that it's been kept out of the jail. But they're doing a good job out there, and like I say, this is only the second week, but me and Captain Manning's talked, and they're doing a good job out there. Well, you came here many times during the campaign. We asked you about the chief deputy situation. You said from the get-go you were going to hire Mike Hargrove's chief deputy. All that's worked out now, so you got to be happy about that. That seemed to be a smooth transition. The county was able to work it out, where Donnie Wade went back to his original position as the emergency management agency director. So tell us about all that, how that went down.
Good Lord looks out for weak-minded folks, Bob. and to tell you the truth, that happened, and I'd spoke to some folks, and I've always said Donnie Ray done a wonderful job as the EMA director, and I guess it wasn't any of my doing. The Lord just looked out for me, and they came up with ideas for those positions, and
so Donnie Ray is over EMA and 911 now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. He's the EMA director and the E911 coordinator, and the way that the 911 center is, if it's not under a law enforcement agency, there's so much stuff that would have to be done to make it so it could be non-law enforcement. It was decided to leave it under the sheriff's office.
So basically he has two bosses now, is the way I understand it. Right? E911, he's under the sheriff's department. The emergency management agent director, he's under the county administrator. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Well, and I'm telling you, I told them if there's any issues, if me and Donnie Ray can't come to an agreement, it'll be the county administrator but I don't foresee that 911 center. I mean, I don't think Donnie Ray will do anything against law enforcement, and that's the only thing I'd be concerned about. The big thing with me is if somebody calls and they have a complaint on 911, the first place they're going to come see the exhibit at the sheriff's office.
The new exhibit.
Yeah, the new exhibit.
Did Scriven replace Mike down there?
I think they have. I'm not sure that they voted on it yet, but
I'm working on it.
Yes, yeah. I know they're interviewing the guys.
Okay.
So we mentioned, when you ran, it's a big county, big budget. So have you looked over the budget yet? What's your thoughts on the budget?
I've
looked. Like I said, during the campaign, the big issue was overtime pay, things like that. So you had a chance to, like I said, you're only a week on the job, so I won't pin you down. But I'm sure you've been looking at it before you took office and things like that.
Yeah, and of course the budget that'll be in effect now, Sheriff Carter actually done, and he gave me a copy of it, and he went over it, and he requested a lot of things, and as it usually is, the county and the agency head discuss it, and then they decide what they'll give you. But I think the sheriff done a good job. I don't think he done anything in this budget that's in effect to hurt me. And the ways of cutting overtime and stuff, that's still being looked at. But the good thing is, it appears now that we're actually fully staffed and may actually have a position more than we were supposed to have. And that'll help with the overtime.
Let's go back to New Year's Eve. Like I say, take over at midnight, New Year's Eve. How did New Year's Eve go? I didn't hear any bad accidents or anything like that? Were there any? With COVID-19, not all the New Year's Eve parties, so I'm sure there weren't a lot of people out on.
No.
So was it a pretty quiet New Year's Eve in Wayne County?
It was, and like I say, I didn't have anything planned because I didn't aggravate the guys because it was expected to rain, and I've always found that's not a good time to be out working traffic, and from my experience in all my years with the State Patrol, I'm telling you, New Year's Eve is the toughest night of the year to get a DUI. I can tell you. And about the only time you'll catch one is if he gets at a fight at a party and has to drive home. And it happens, don't get me wrong.
Why is the toughest night?
Because everybody have a designated driver.
Oh, okay.
They know law enforcement's out in full force, and then they know there'll be road checks.
So you're saying the fact that people take extra precautions on New Year's Eve night more than they normally do.
Yes, they do.
Well, like I said, we've got a couple of press releases already from you, like a couple of drug arrests and drug still, these drugs. Heroin still seems to be coming back strong for some reason. I mean, that's surprising. I mean, that's a drug you heard years ago back in the 70s and kind of disappeared, but now all of a sudden, the last couple of reports I'm getting, there's a lot of heroin in Wayne County for some reason.
And fentanyl. Some of that in the last one they identified.
What fentanyl is. I'm not
Lord,
sure.
don't start me lying, Bob. But I know this.
I mean, I read these drugs. Half of them I have no idea what they are.
But I think
I know what meth is. I know what heroin is. I know marijuana. What? But I don't know what fentanyl is.
Fentanyl. I really.
Is that a prescription drug?
It's. I know people have got it in patches, but it is a dangerous drug. If you get that on your skin, you can actually overdose.
Why is heroin making a comeback?
I'm not
like
sure,
I said, it was 70s, 60s, 70s, and then cocaine was 80s, and now meth has been the big thing along with illegal, along with prescription drugs that are abused. But I was just wondering why that's making a comeback.
I don't know, but the heroin used to be really expensive.
I know.
And meth is
meth has been cheating. That's the reason why. But I don't know. Is the price of heroin going down for some reason?
Yeah, I don't know.
Lord, we got a pretty big audience. We get these press releases, and it always says at the bottom, if you have any information about illegal drug activity, call this number. You can do it on. Do you get a lot of calls about? Do you get a lot of tip information from people that they're just calling, give you information about illegal drug activity?
But I think those numbers actually go to the drug agents, and a week and a half in, I hadn't been made aware, but I can tell you, those guys have got some information, and there'll be some more coming. And it takes time. Like I explained to people, people have talked to me about locations that they feel selling drugs, and you can think it all you want to, but you've got to have a reasonable suspicion to get search warrants and probable cause to get, arrest, and then
you got a whole procedure you got to go through to make sure if you do make the arrest that it's going to stick in court.
That's right.
Instead of just going out there and just arresting someone, there's a whole process that you have to go through.
But we have some more locations that people have gave us, and just like this last search warrant, there's actually 7 folks there, and you don't know, but sometimes you can ask questions to get information, and but those guys are. I tell you, it's exciting to go to those search warrants as an old man that hadn't took part in such as that. And I actually went to both of them with me. I've told them I appreciate them letting me know they're going to do it, so I can go out and just walk around and.
Are these drug agents that work for you or for the state?
Sir?
Are these drug agents work for Wayne County or do they work for the state?
Wayne County and Jessup Police Department.
Okay, so...
this is a combination, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, it's... you're the boss, so if you want to be there, you can be there.
Hey, it's those guys doing the job, I'm telling you. And they seem to be meshing well and seem to be working good. And I think that kind of coordination will maybe make a difference. Maybe it'll keep on.
That's good.
If you just joined us, newly elected Sheriff Chuck Moseley in studio with another aspect of the Sheriff's Department is the court system. But I met with Francis Sugar yesterday, and unfortunately, due to COVID, all court cases have been postponed once again, and they have no idea when they're going to start back. So once again, it just seems like all these cases getting backlogged, which that's going to be a problem for all law enforcement, court system, the whole 9 yards.
Yes, sir. And you think about it, the jail. I mean, if they've got violent crimes, they won't be getting a bond. And thank the Lord we've kind of got it. And Sheriff John Carter had this more or less lined up. If they're not violent criminals, you can let them out of the jail. But
I know in some situations in county, especially with shoplifting and stuff like that, instead of being taken and formally arrested, they just give them a citation to show up at court whenever the court date may be, to keep people out of being processed and in the jail and then released.
Well, and if it's a misdemeanor, that's a fingerprintable offense. They'll carry them to the jail, go ahead and fingerprint them, and then let them go,
right?
Just so they're not mixed in with the general population at the jail. But it is not having court.
I don't see how y'all can catch up. I mean, I know that you got a new DA, and then of course you got the new sheriff, and all the counties have the same problem. You got all these court cases backing up, and usually they're already packed in the first place.
Yes,
it'd be interesting to get a judge in here and talk to them about what their thoughts are.
Are they still having drug court, or are they having any court at all?
They did this past week, but like you say, with it being shut down for the COVID again, I'm sure that'll be pushed off.
Personnel that that's normally their job is to be at court, because there's so many courts. I mean, it seems like there's court every day with different. There's divorce court, there's drug court, there's criminal court, state court. I mean, so where do those people go that are normally used for the courtroom? You have them doing other duties?
Well, the deputies, the courtroom security deputies, they have other things that they do. Deputy Williams helps serve papers. Cornegie actually helps with the sex offender registry stuff. So there's other functions they can do, especially serving papers. The papers hadn't slowed down a lot. But
I have a question about patrols. You'll see county officers patrolling around. Do they have regular routes they go, or regular times, or do they really, patrol all parts of the county, or they just go where needed? Tell us about that.
Well, they have zones dividing the county up, Mr. Butch, and of course, generally there's 4 deputies on duty that'll be split up, and then the sergeant. And they'll back one another up as they can. But I can tell you, of course, I've been there a week, but there's times that they are busy and there's not much patrolling. They're heading to calls.
Yeah, there's so much going on out there. I didn't know how much actually they could patrol, or how much a sheriff wanted them patrol because of expense purposes.
That's right.
But then, it feels good sometimes if you're in a neighborhood somewhere and you live and you see a policeman ride by. You like to see the presence ever so often.
Yes, sir. Well, and that's the thing. And like I say, I've been in there a week, and it's me that's trying to learn. I don't want to go in right now and just change their world.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had any thoughts on something like that, being in law enforcement for all the years that you've been in.
Yes, sir, and I do. I will be encouraging them to ride and stop and see folks and ride through the troubled areas, and I've already spoke to some of them about some of our troubled areas where we've got complaints and things like that. But
you want to give the top 4 places in Wayne County? No.
I can give you more than that.
No, I said the top 4. I know there's more than that. I said the top 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You read arresting there all the time, and on the police beat or in reports and stuff like that. It seems like there's probably about 80% of them seem to be in 4 big areas, and then of course you got the other 20 to 30% problem areas too.
Well, and I've actually got some good reports from some places that were complaining that they've seen the difference, and it's amazing sometimes, like you say, just presence, and Lord have mercy, if some lights come on, it makes a difference. And one of those, well, I'm not going to name it.
Yeah.
but I'm getting some good reports.
Good.
And the good thing is, I'm telling you, and it tickles me, that the people at the employees of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, I'm not going to say my people, they seem to be accepting of the change, and I hadn't had to have a harsh word with anybody. It's going good. Way better than I expected. Okay. Thank the Lord.
Like I said, you've only been there a week, but you're a sheriff that spends more time in the office, out of the office. Or have you balanced that, or what's your schedule going like? Or you have originals ahead of time schedule yet?
Yeah. I didn't even get to eat the other day, Bob.
We need to ask you that in about 6 months, right?
Yeah, we're going to have to get somebody to deliver me a sandwich. But no,
I'm sure that could
and
be
it was
arranged.
my own fault. But I'm telling you, it's going good. And like I say, I appreciate people coming by, and I appreciate the phone calls. But Lord, it just, and I still have a few things to do. And Sheriff John Carter, I got love on his neck and get him back up there to help me. But now I'm telling you, and he has been gracious. Bless his heart. We went to Uncle Charles Brannon's funeral the other day, and as a sad state of affair. I love that joker, and of course Sheriff Carter and Grant and Herschel and all
a long
that.
time in the sheriff's offices.
Yes,
I still
yes.
remember him and Bill Moseley. They were pretty much the two lead detectives under Sheriff Poindexter back in the day. So,
And I'm gonna tell you, Charles Brannon could be gruff, but there was no better heart on the face of this earth. I'm telling you, he was a good fella. But anyway, me and Sheriff Carter spoke out there, and I got to hug his neck.
Tell us what what your requirements are, or if you've said that in yet, for people to for wearing their mask when they come in the sheriff's department. Is there any policy? Was it in place, or have you placed something? Tell us what. If people go into the sheriff's department, what should they expect when they walk through the door?
Well, and Sheriff Carter and them already had it where you had to wear a mask going in if you're the public coming in. Now the workers, we're so closely confined in there, it's not required, but the general public and the county has actually voted in a resolution.
You have to wear a mask in any county office at this time.
Yes.
So that's been in place.
All
Since
right. I know I didn't know if you had any
Yes.
thoughts on it. We just got a text in, and I don't know who this is from, but it's from Vi. It's from Judge Bennett. Okay. Said we needed a judge. At least we have one text in.
Yes, Lord, bless her heart.
Vi, we appreciate it. It says, I cannot speak for other courts, but Wayne County state court cases are still being scheduled and heard. We are operating pursuant to the guidelines of the CDC, the Georgia Supreme Court, and Chief Judge Stephen Scarlett. If someone receives a notice to appear in state court, they are expected to appear.
And I actually should have known that. We had state court. Captain Papa was telling me they had state court one day this week already. So, and I think another day is Thursday, but.
Okay, so state court's still going on, but it seems like some of these bigger
Superior courts
been kind of on hold, I guess.
And that would be what Miss Francis would be.
Right, all Superior Court criminal cases have been put on hold. In fact, they got a conference call, I think, the 25th, where they're going to go through all the cases on the calendar and give an update on that. So that's the next date that they have. But as far as cases and jury trials, all that's been put on hold. Once again, they haven't given a date on when it's going to reschedule.
Yes.
So with the COVID going on like it is, so.
Yep.
Okay. How accessible are you? I know right now you're an exhibit. Just leave your $5 right there.
Yes.
Go in and see the new sheriff. All money given to charity. But no, how accessible will you be to the public as sheriff? I know some sheriffs are very out there and open. Other ones say, well, if you have a situation, go through my chief deputy first, because I got so much going on. What was your situation?
I'm giving out my cell phone number, and if the folks in the county need me, I want them to be able to get in touch with me.
Okay.
I think that's what they expect of the sheriff.
Someone just texted in that Mr. Brannon was a con man.
He was.
Y'all were just talking about
Good
that.
man.
Where's the sheriff's employees on the picking order as far as COVID vaccination? I mean, they're not in phase. Are they in phase one? Emergency personnel, they're included in that phase.
Yep, they actually last week contacted our office to see who was interested in getting it, and I'm not sure. I know one of my investigators got a shot this week, so.
All right, we got another judge that just texted in. Magistrate court is still operating in the same as the same as state court. So magistrate court still going on as normal. State court still going on as normal. So at least those type of cases aren't getting backed up.
Yes. And I didn't mean to exclude them, but I was aware that Superior Court was slowing down.
All right. Well, we just got a text in that said Donald Sloan is the new police chief in Scriven.
Yes.
Okay, Donald Sloan. So congratulations to him and his new position there in Scriven.
He's been there a long time.
They did make that official then at their meeting, so that's
They did.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Good. Everything's just falling into place.
Yes,
Starting the new
Lord.
year.
Well,
Yes.
Sheriff, besides drugs, what's the big issue with the sheriff? I mean, what do you deal with besides that? What's the number one?
Well,
is shoplifting? How's shoplifting? Just see, I mean, I didn't hear a lot of shoplifting. There's shoplifting going on. I'm sure there were, but I didn't see many arrests from police reports.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm telling you, it's amazing with the
besides
lockdowns.
the drugs, I'm just curious, what are y'all dealing with on a daily basis with the sheriff's department?
Well, serving, just answering calls. I mean, we still have a lot of calls that the deputies have to go answering.
How are domestic calls? I mean, they said that domestic situations will probably go up during COVID because you've got, husbands and wives, partners stuck in the same house for a long time, and sometimes they can get on each other's nerves. Is that still up?
Oh, yes, sir, and I'm sure of it now. And like I say, I've been busy with other things. I hadn't been able to look at the reports a lot, but I have answered some calls myself of folks complaining about
So just
domestic
situations
with family
emotions
members.
getting out of hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So drugs are number one, and then just regular calls from people.
And please be patient with me. I'm telling you, this is only the second
Now,
week.
you can't work miracles a week and a half, can you?
Hey, look here. But I'm blessed and I'm enjoying it. I'm telling y'all, there's times whenever I've got a phone in one hand and the other one rings and I just shake my head, but all that'll die out, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll set into a routine now after a few months, but with COVID going on, I don't know when things are going to get back to a regular routine. But for COVID situations, you'll fall into a regular routine in a few months and have that. You'll feel a lot more comfortable though. But I know, new position here, new sheriff, new department. You're just getting your feet wet.
Yes, sir. And I actually have already been cussed at one time.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Can you imagine that?
No,
Somebody
I can't.
as nice as I am. Yeah, I'm trying to bless that joker, and he cussed at me.
They couldn't wait till week two.
They know you're a sheriff, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Did he get a ticket?
Well, this is when he was fussing about the ride in the back of a patrol car, so there wasn't any pleasing him. So.
No.
So he was already in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. He wasn't happy at all.
Oh, boy. But Sheriff Moseley in here this morning, the new Wayne County Sheriff. And, Sheriff, it's been a pleasure having you in this morning. I was glad that Bob was able to line it up. And we look forward to having you on here many, many times. And remember, this can be your forum out here, so if you need to inform the public about what's going on, just give Bob a call and come on.
Bob can be said a bunch of things, but persistence now, that's Bob Morgan, I'm telling you.
Well, you learn that when you're in news,
Yes.
You have to do it.
That's why he's been here so long, ain't it, Mr. Butch?
That's right.
That's right. Be gone.
Does a great job. Bob, any other questions for the sheriff?
Just appreciate you coming in. Like I said,
thank you.
It was funny though when I did try to call you last week. You said, "Look, at least give me a week."
With all the love I could muster, that's the way I said it.
That's right. Will someone please bring Sheriff Moseley a sandwich for lunch?
Totally understand.
You can look at my double chin and tell I'm not starving.
You're not starving.
No.
You just missed that one day,
Yes,
right?
yes.
All right, take care, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Local Boys Construction, by First Southern Bank, by Murphy Builder Supply, and by Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.